Hello, everybody. Welcome back into the second day here of the IESF America's qualifiers. We are in for the long haul again, another 3 BO3s to bring you here as we are getting into the thick of it. Opening games yesterday, a bit of a forfeit loss in there for Team Brazil, some heartbreaking places, some very one-sided affairs on the North American side of things, of course. But myself and Naokai are back in to bring you the action again. And indeed, looking forward to breaking back in. Another long evening for us, but going to be some fantastic Counter-Strike, I'm sure.
Exactly. We've got a couple of new peoples, or I guess nations, to check in with heading towards this one. We didn't get to catch them yesterday, so now we do get to watch Argentina, which I'm quite excited for as well. They're a side who, of course, have a lot on offer for us, so we're expecting big things out from them. It should be a really cool day, all in all. I mean, looking towards today, because we got a little bit of a taster yesterday, see which one are the stronger sides. I mean, in particular, I think United States looked very, very good. Played some good Counter-Strike. Canada also played some good Counter-Strike, but maybe not against one of the stronger teams. I still feel like Colombia had a lot to offer. And United States still were able to dispatch them 2-0, with relative ease, all in all. I think for Canada as well, they weren't really tested all that much on the same sort of vein as well. So we have a little bit of a taster, kind of maybe who are some of the stronger sides into South America. We wanted to catch Argentina, Brazil yesterday. Couldn't, obviously, because there was a forfeit there. So now we do get to check in with them. Argentina, for me, do feel like they should be the favorites in South America. On paper, that team, Crew is what they go by as an organization, are really, really good within the domestic scene. They play a lot of Counter-Strike at a very high level and to a very effective level as well. And having a team with players like this, I think, is really good to see. So I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table. But as always, while we're going to be covering this game, there's going to be other games happening simultaneously. It looks like Brazil are going to be taking on Uruguay at the same time. And here is actually today's schedule. All those games along the top are the ones that we are going to be covering. Argentina versus Chile as our first. USA then taking on Honduras as that second, and Guatemala, Ecuador to see off the evening. And the games on the bottom row are going to be happening simultaneously, and we'll try and keep track of them, see how the scores end up being, and all the rest.
Yeah, some good games on the cards for sure. I think Chile actually looked pretty good yesterday. We got to kind of catch them again. Not the game that we were intent on covering, but they look decent. It ends up being a little bit close against Uruguay. We felt that they should have been able to take it into. They took the nuke to kick things off, right? Then went into their own pick. Had that 9-3 half on Inferno, if memory serves, and ultimately it ended up going to a third map. No, it was the Mirage. Yeah, Inferno was the third map, of course. So, yeah, the Mirage, super one-sided beginning coming in from Chile, but couldn't get it going on that CT side, right? Yeah. We'll see. They looked good, but there were some issues in there. Can they match off against Crew? Potentially not. But then that feels like that is going to be the line for most of the teams in the South American qualifier. There is a little bit of it's going to be Crew and then who else, right? So could be interesting if they could take a map off. I think that would also be a pretty good result for Chile, of course. But indeed, we can start to sort of zoom in on the matchup that we have at hand, as said. And as you say, pretty excited, pretty happy now to get involved with Argentina. Kind of made sure that we get to catch this team. Sure, we're following Chile for a couple games in a row, but we want to see Argentina. We want to see what these guys are capable of. And ultimately, this one gets you straight through into the World Esports Championship. So you have to be, if you come in as the favorite in the qualifier, you have to be proving that. You have to be looking good for the LAN environment.
Of course, yeah, these two guys find themselves at the top of the table. Obviously, Argentina's case, it was that forfeit win. So we haven't got that judgment of them, but because we know the players and the organization and all the rest, we have a pretty good understanding of what to expect. Chile, we did tap in with. They looked pretty good. It was a bit of a close fought series in the sense that it went to 3, but I think there was just there's clear real strengths and real weaknesses in both the map pool and the way in which Chile play. The CT side and the first 2 maps looked a little bit rough around the edges. I think it's probably the best way we can go about it. But Argentina, the real thing is Chile can't bring any of those weaknesses in, because Argentina are such a good team on paper. I mean, these are going to be the players representing Argentina: Reversive, Ataraxia, Lenchi, Raihi, and Laser. It did seem on paper like at one point they're going to have Deco coming in as well, but it looks like maybe not in terms of maybe a deadline when the roster was submitted. But I wouldn't be surprised if Deco was registered as a substitute at the very least. to some degree. And maybe you might even see him in the server, who knows. But a very talented player nonetheless, and a very talented 5 as well here for this Team Argentina side. For Crew Esports, who all 5 of these guys represent, right? They're very, very talented. They play a lot within the domestic scene, a lot of Counter-Strike, and to, like we've always said, right, at a very high level. And having a team like that which have great domestic results, proving how solid they have been, I think coming into a national competition like this, where you face off against quite a few mixed teams, being a full 5 is such a massive thing. All in all, right? You have the system, the dynamics, the strategic way of playing off each other, not just the individuals that they kind of base themselves off. Of course, not too long ago, Lenchi did get benched by Crew, but I'm not too sure whether he is playing in here rather than Deco, who only came in a couple of weeks, or just over a couple of weeks ago, in towards that Crew lineup. So maybe they're a little bit more comfortable, I guess, with him. But nonetheless, let's take a look at their opponents.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Again, to just kind of reiterate and what you're saying about Argentina, I think that they are a solid squad and indeed recognizable names over there. On the other side of things, Chile, we actually saw a couple versions of this team. Alexa came in a little later, whether, pulled away or indeed just some sort of connectivity issue maybe. So we'll see across the board here whether we get, again, the same 5-man roster. But Kratzen, Dopweek, Waitsin, and Orphan were all there for the entire series and looked pretty good. Dopweek on that AWP in particular was pretty impressive. Waitsin maybe behind him a little bit, was one of the only other consistent elements on the Mirage in that second half that kind of fell apart for them. So a decent squad here that, again, starting to turn our heads a little bit, and we're getting a bit of an idea of who the stronger names are, who the individuals to watch are going to be here.
Yeah, no, exactly that. So, the Chile side did have a couple in particular for me who looked, at least at times, really, really solid. I think Waitsin, he for me was one who stepped up in a couple of different scenarios. Dopweek as well, when he picked up the AWP, looked really clean. Orphan, I think, anchoring on CT side had a couple of real nice moments too. And Kratzen, I think, those first 2 maps, he was so key on those T sides to really making their chance in that series. I think without him, they really would have struggled. He was cracking up in sights a lot. Very, very aggro as a rifler, and having a player like that which you can rely on, I think, is always good for them. The thing with Chile is that they have, all 5 of these players have had their moments in that previous series, and it's been pretty important for them. Let's take a look at the veto as we get on the way in towards this Mirage, Dust 2, and Nuke as a decider coming through. Chile in towards that Mirage, nice and simple. Dust 2 has been a map in which Crew as a team have been absolutely loving. They have been smashing out the reps on this, playing it 19 times in the last couple of months, and that's, not even including the player break, right? So they have looked really, really good on that. A lot of wins under their belt. It's at the moment their highest win rate and most played map that they've got to work with. So for them, it's absolutely their sort of home ground. And Nuke, if we need it, is a map in which they play a little bit, but not to the best success.
Kind of interesting for me that Chile still go in for that Mirage despite the way that it fell apart. Maybe with the Inferno ban coming in, it limits their options slightly. That was the decider in the series yesterday, so I don't know. Could be a bit worrisome. There were some serious issues. Is that going to happen again? Probably unlikely that it will be so unbelievably one-sided unless they do just sort of get outmatched here, but you wouldn't expect them to crumble in the same kind of way. One of the things that we talked about a little bit, and again comes through as an element of that comfortability as a team, was the fact that they didn't go for the timeouts. They didn't realize, okay, this is kind of falling apart. They were like, we'll be fine. We've got plenty of rounds. And then all of a sudden it was 9-8, 9-9. And by the time they needed to take back control, they couldn't. It was too far gone, So always difficult to be on the end of that. A learning lesson, I would imagine, for the side of Chile. But all the same, I think this is going to be tough for them, right? They have some good individuals here. They might, again, be able to get those activated. But I just think the fact of the matter is we're saying one team is Chile, the other team is Crew, right? And that just paints the picture. That tells you what you need to know. And Crew, even within the higher levels as a team, are looking really, really good in South American ECL, at the top level of South America. We have a couple of rosters in here, a couple of half rosters and things like that, but some of the teams that they're playing under are actually a little lower down, maybe at the mid-level of their respective region or country, but it feels like Crew are very much towards that top level, knocking on the door of, international Counter-Strike already.
Yes, no, exactly. And I think that is the big factor that we're always going to come back to. I think we see this all the way throughout the ISF quals, no matter what region we've been in. When you see teams that are actually teams rather than maybe a little bit more of a mixed nature about it, it does make quite a big difference, because you can just see in terms of the dynamic of the way in which they set up is quite a big thing. And also, just on the other side as well, you kind of mentioned that Mirage pick and it did fall apart. The other thing for me is that Mirage is arguably sort of Crew's second best, maybe third best map that they've got in the pool. It's definitely one that they play a decent amount and to fairly decent success as well, at least when we look at kind of their domestic games that they've been playing against. I mean, recently a couple of wins that they've taken against kind of domestic Brazilian sides have looked pretty good for them. And throughout the season, it's sort of been a map in which they continuously either float or at least it gets picked into them and they're able to steal away. And I think having that is pretty huge, considering some of the teams they're scalping as well. Sharks, obviously, were at ESL Pro League not too long ago. They look pretty good as well. Team Solid, they beat them twice in a row, not even that long ago. And they are, at the moment, seem like one of the hottest property within the kind of the South American, and in particular the Brazilian scene, coming through, qualifying for lands towards the tail end of the year, looking really, really good in some of those more local competitions as well. So this is a map in which they don't mind. And I think that as well is sort of another big risk. I always value teams who pick for themselves rather than pick for countering opponents and all the rest. But there is a big risk here of that Mirage, because A, you come against a team on it. B is a team that have very solid individuals too, and that alone could be enough for them to just overwhelm. Never mind, it's a map in which they actually do really enjoy playing.
Yeah, definitely. Again, you have to kind of come into the tournament here, and you really do have to play your own game in these types of competitions. I think that Chile, again, it is going to be really hard. I think that they will know that. And if they can hit a double digits, if they can maybe take a map away, they'll be satisfied with that. Again, at the moment, towards the top end of the group, so they're still in with a pretty good chance here of taking a spot. And we're not really sure what's going to go down with Brazil at the moment. They're up against Uruguay for today, and it's a question of whether they'll be able to contend here, whether they'll be able to pick themselves up after yesterday's difficulties. And then on that third day, Chile will actually be playing Brazil here. So big game for them tomorrow, right? And if they can ramp up a little bit, if they can warm up against Argentina, then I think they will find themselves in a pretty confident spot, which is obviously worth its weight in gold. And I do think that they have a decent chance. I like what I saw out from Chile. There's some problems in there. They do have to watch themselves again, make sure that they have their head in the right place, but you feel like it's going to happen for one half, it's going to happen for one map, and then for the rest of the tournament, you ultimately have no excuse. You have to be able to now understand that it's like, okay, we've got to give some respect across to whoever we are playing, regardless of our position in the game. Nothing is insurmountable here.
And the big thing, that I'm worried a little bit more about, just I hope it's something in which we get to see fixed a little bit coming towards today, is just there was these wild inconsistencies that came through for Chile, where one half was incredible, they were looking unstoppable, then they would fall a little flat. I think, obviously, I mentioned a little bit earlier, a lot of it came down to their CT sides having a couple of inherent weaknesses. Same for their opponent, obviously, yesterday too, with Uruguay, but that's something that you hope and you want to see them fix coming in towards this. It's just these small issues where you could see on the CT side, it was so reliant on them getting early information, which meant they would get very aggressive. Getting very aggressive is very risky, because a T side, they get an opening kill on you, all they have to do is play the numbers game. That happened a lot yesterday, and it's something that they utilize a lot on their T side when it comes through. But however, if you're expecting Crew to fall for a lot of these traps, I don't think it's going to happen. They're a side who are normally very well disciplined. They've got a really great game plan coming in towards most maps, and that for me is a big factor that they're sort of always going to lean on coming in towards this series. So we'll see, right? I think we've built the narrative up enough in the sense that we understand, and I think for those at home probably should understand as well, that Argentina are coming in as the heavy favorites, not only for this matchup, but for this qualifier. They're a really decent side on paper. I mean, they really do probably deserve at least one of those spots, if not the first spot at the World Esports Championship. And winning this best of three will confirm that. It's as simple as that. Because of round difference and all the rest, if Argentina are to win it, they will basically be guaranteed going through. And if Chile win it, it'll be close, but I'm pretty sure as long as, maybe even if Brazil might not even play the qualifier itself, they did forfeit yesterday, it might be more of the same heading in towards today. It did actually mean that Chile versus Uruguay game was uber important, which essentially could have been who's gonna book in that second spot. Simple as that. However, there's one other factor or one other outcome that potentially comes through here. If Chile beat Argentina, then it's Argentina versus Uruguay to see who ends up getting that spot. So this is the thing. Whoever wins this guarantees their spot at the World Esports Championship. That feels as sort of as simple as that. If Chile are to win it, though, then Argentina have to fight Uruguay on that final day to book their spot. Of course, that'll be playing out tomorrow. Whether it's on stream or not, we don't exactly know yet, but we'll find out towards the end of the day. But yeah, you know, there's two major outcomes here of are Argentina going to book their spot today or tomorrow? Are Chile going to book their spot basically today as well by getting a win?
Yeah, I mean, it would be absolutely wild if Chile managed to get it here. But, you know, in tournaments like this, we do have to talk about kind of all the permutations and where it can end up going. And I do feel that a team like Chile have got the individuals in there, it feels like, for sure. It feels like they do have the ability to have someone take over a game if crew come in. A bit cold here, and again, we've seen a good number this week of like these underdog stories, teams overlooking it, and in their minds, Argentina might be a little bit like, okay, should be fine here, win this, get our spot, sound, you know, lovely tournament from us, and we'll be satisfied with that, but it can obviously come back to bite you. We are into the Counter-Strike here, though, Neo. Bang on time.
Let's go.
Let's go. That's huge. That is so huge. As things get underway, though, Chile will manage to find that first kill. Rahi holding pretty cleanly in from jungle. Surely got to be a dead man here, you would assume. It's all about the trades. Bomb plant has been denied away, meanwhile. 3 on 2. A little awkward as well. They're both massively split here.
Just to mention as well, Deco is in the server rather than Lenchi. Of course, Lenchi did get benched by crew not too long ago, so Deco has taken his spot. He's only been with this team for 18 days. Obviously, he's a very talented player. Got a lot to offer. Dot week in a 1v3. He spotted 2, and now he spotted 3, in all fairness. There's the first. Top week might be on the cards here. Julie's tucked in towards connector. With a cross. Does get dinked. Now they're both low. This round is on. Time is ticking. He's hoping that his teammate can come in and catch him on the way out. And he will be given the run towards B. Dotboy should get a plant out here. Or he should at the very least. They are winning that race. And my, oh my. This round is on. They are so damn low. 2 and 23 points of HP. But Laser does not care. One tap to the dome. Dotboy dropped. Argentina find the first.
Ain't no missing here for Laser. And he will make it happen. But that is what we're talking about. There are capabilities in there. You see it very early on. Top week in particular was the strongest player on this team. He's the AWPer as well, right? So could be devastating. Argentina pretty clean in the end and well played in the little 2 versus 1 there. Tracking him, keeping him under pressure. However, they do have to watch themselves. And maybe a round like that, a moment like that, is immediately going to make them respect their opponents here.
Yeah, it's true. Chile aren't going to go for the full force here. Opting just for a little bit of a lesser investment. Get the full buyout in towards the next. Once again, they'd love a bomb plant out of this. It would give them even more funds to work with. But who knows whether they're going to be able to get it in towards mid. Right, he's in a little bit of trouble here, and he will actually fall. Jeff's not going to catch him with that P250.
Any damage is good damage here for Chile, so I'll be happy with that thus far. And again, more on the cards. Nice little window smoke coming over the top. Oh, it says, there we go. Eventually goes down, and in comes the devastation. Another kill round for Chile, but Argentina to hold on and just mow them all down, really. 3-piece coming through for Reversive. And that puts them in a very good spot here. But a super quick buy coming out from Chile, right? This is something that actually maybe goes a little bit against the region. We see a lot of second-round force buys out from South America. Chile a bit more disciplined with it, though. Get the AKs into the mixture.
Okay. We are now looking with open eyes on towards this first gun run out from Chile. Expecting some big things. AK's coming out. Their T-side did their best work. Fighting towards mid is actually really good because that second flash from Orphan completely catches Raihi. It's floodgates opening towards mid. Ataraxi gets one, but he gets traded immediately.
Nade up here to try and take a peek. Oh, it's somewhat greedy from Laser. Trying to be the hero, really. I might just have thrown the round away with it. I'm sure the kill feed didn't catch up, or if we just had a bit of a disconnect, but either way, Gecko finds himself all alone. Down he will go, and Chile on the board immediately, just like that. Super aggressive. They will absolutely make it work, and cleanly as well, you know, only losing a couple players.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for Chile, that's a really decent round to be taken. I think it's good to them, good for them on an individual basis to know that they can come in towards these T-side rounds and actually play that quite puggy and aggro style of play that they did yesterday against Uruguay. Get up in towards Argentina's face, make them feel uncomfortable. It seems like Argentina are, you know, very happy to fight themselves, and you know, I don't blame them, right? But the issue is that for now, Argentina, they have broken their economy off the back of losing that one, so it should mean that Chile tie this game back up in just a moment.
Yeah, you would expect so. A little tentative from them. Slow connector control. I don't think... Oh, I was going to say it's being considered. However, Reversive is indeed eyes on. Is he ready for the vast majority of the team to be there? It's kind of the big question. They know about him now. Looking to take him out. Great shot from Alexa coming round. Another player in on the site itself towards Palace, but they get the utility out. Keep him dealt with. Maybe they have indeed heard him, but they seem savvy to the fact. So, looking good. First kill indeed goes the way of Argentina. You would assume they should be able to recover things. I was going to say on the bird's eye, I like the positioning here. And it's down to a 1 versus 2. Alexa on this AWP, can't get it going. Pulls out the Glock and he will fall. And there it is. That's crew coming alive, showing us what they are capable of.
I mean, they didn't even bring armor in towards that round as well, Ryan. That's the big thing for me. Raihi having a great round on an individual basis. 2 for Laser as well at that tail end. Really, really nicely done. But again, never should be happening, right? We never should see Chile losing a round like that. You know, full buy against a low buy without armor, barely even upgraded pistols on a couple of them as well. So it's a damning one to lose, but ultimately you lose a kill, you drop over a weapon, you put it into the wrong hands, and that could be enough for you to lose a round. That's exactly what we saw there. So 2-round lead taken for Argentina. There is a buy back in for Chile, fortunately, because, of course, Spawn Plant will keep them sort of somewhat sufficient, but it's not a strong one.
Ooh, big nade damage to Raihi as he's trying to get into the action at the top end of middle. Nobody there, though. It's going to be a pretty straight-up ramp move. Reversive swings out, finds a frag. Dopweek thinking about going across, but decides against it. Will be a return kill here, but it's still looking good. Mac 10 off the back of the flash gets nice and deep, but it's Raihi. Finds the gap, finds the 2-piece. This is what happens. Chile happy to take the fights, as they should be. However, Crew are looking comfortable, aren't they? Crew are kind of inviting it in. I think that first rifle caught them off guard with just how aggressive it was, but they may well have had that conversation of like, okay, looks like we're going to be taking a lot of 50-50s, a lot of 1v1s here, guys. And indeed, just get ready for that. Should be comfortable here, though.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of aggro rounds coming through. It looks like I can say, Alexa was tempted by the Force by there, and he actually still is, but rather than the AK, he's going to go for the Scout. Hoping for a little bit of the old tag and bag sort of strategy. Hope that he can tag him up. The Deagles see him off. That kind of vibe. Not 100% sure how successful that he's going to be. Or for the first, Raihi for the second. Back in towards mid. The pistol pulled out, but Laser cleans it off. And, well, it's quite a simple 6th, isn't it? As Argentina about to find their 5th on the board.
Orphan just wants to take one away. You can see the Argentina economy still not fantastic. Reversive. Ooh, comes off the angle, but still gets the kill. Up to 5 now. Game moving fast here, as they have been so far in South America in particular. Argentina streaking ahead. Chile going to have to put one on the board with this next gun round.
Yeah, exactly. It does feel not completely damning where we're at, but at least to a point where they need to be very, very careful. We've already got 5 up for Argentina. They're already looking very solid as well. I think, they had that one hiccup where they lost to maybe a round that they shouldn't have just because they were over fighting. On the back on an eco and now looking really decent themselves. If Chile don't get a round, probably the next 2, I'd be a little concerned.
Flash over the top here. Reversive looking for this first fight. They are coming towards him. Gap closing from Triple. Lost his teammate as well. Molotov forces him out. It's only one that he's able to get. Such an advantage for Chile at the moment. Keeping it simple with the A execute, but making it work. The smoke goes down here. Peek up from the stairs is dangerous. That might just be the round going with it, but Laser moves round, finds 2. It's the orb to bring it down to a 1 versus 1. Tagged up slightly. Only needs 1 bullet though, of course. Javstar guessing the wrong way, but the shot misses, and he finds the frag. Big clutch up for Chile, getting them back on the board. You said it was important. They will indeed get it.
Yeah, they needed it. I think if you're Chile and you lose that round there, we're talking about Argentina probably going all the way up to 7, and that at that point, it's already a relatively stable CT side, even if it was just to be capped out at 7. And the expectations are probably at a 7-2. There might even be a couple of more. At least now putting a second on the board is going to put pressure back on towards the shoulders of Argentina here. It means that they do have to try and clean their act a little bit. Ataraxia looking in towards mid. And he realized nobody's here. That might tempt a bit of a B play. Interesting from Argentina to have no B presence here. Double up short, no one towards B. Playing retake and stuff, but they actually have now rotated over in time.
Ataraxia on the orb. Finds that first. Stacked on top of each other as well. Is actually going to work. Figure it might be a bit dangerous. Might allow the cross in towards side quite quickly, but not the case here. Only 2 remaining for Chile. It looks like the all-important C word is still going to elude them. Lovely finds here. Flawless round from Argentina. B-bomb site, a complete lockout. As they'll take the blip. They'll be happy with that. If they can string 2 or 3 and then lose a round, you're looking at a 9-3-8-4 half for sure.
Yeah, and this has been the thing right now in the story. I mean, it has just generally been these blips, but overall are still a strong performance or a stronger performance from Argentina. Guaranteed bare minimum tie game on the CT side. The way they're playing, probably, especially now with the buyout for Chile too, we're expecting it to be maybe another put on the board in just a second. Bit of a pop out towards A. That's going to go quite quick here. First will be found by Raihi. Does he know about them on site? He does, but he's opting not to fight, waiting for the flash. Does nearly cost him. Nade comes over. Drop stop weak. Actually might get a plant out of this. No, I spoke too soon. Lasers nade. Make sure that's not the case. Alexa, big ask for him in a 1v4. Turn 1v2 with a nice couple of shots. A laser makes sure that's all he gets away with. Argentina, a little bit expensive, but ultimately, 7th round is all they care about.
Yes, for sure. Still, it does kind of hang in the balance a little bit. Chile could, again, close this gap, win this round, take them all down, make sure there's no save, and it probably will be a difficult buy. So we'll see. Another important round coming in for the T side here. Their own map pick. Struggling to get it off the ground. There are flashbacks to yesterday. Oh my goodness. So many flashes in towards the middle. The one from Laser, though, is beautiful. Straight over the top. And it is perfect for 2, nearly 3. He will go down himself, however. An even situation rears its head here for Chile.
That's Araxia. At range, might get a chance. Chile doubling up, and are they going ups? Yeah, they're going to move in towards T-Apps. They technically could have made a wrap back around towards Ram. They're going to have plenty of time to do it. This is a tough one. It's a 3v3, but the only issue is that for Chile, first of all, don't know where to go, right? Because they have no idea what the setup for Argentina is looking like. They don't have the util as well to suffice, right? You've got a Molotov and a nade to try and find a bomb plant out of this. You've got Reverser playing very passive over towards jungle, giving them window control if they want it. If they do go in towards window, they're going to be in trouble. It looks like, oh, here we go. Yeah, exactly that. Going in towards window, Reversive, who's playing out via CT. Might even hear just the scrunch of the trousers that's now made in CS2, but also should get the kill nonetheless. If they do make a move, that is.
Love that, because that's exactly what the noise is. Scrunch of the trousers.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the noise is. Just, you know, a little adjustment of the belt once you land. Slow creep in. Starting to pick up the speed, though. Only 10 seconds, man. Oh, the spam. It's so good. Ataraxia, meanwhile, coming in from short. Yes, they get the bomb down, but it has cost them everything. A clutch situation required from Kratzen. Double spray down is incredibly clean. He's so low. They know about that, but he still manages to find it. Oh my, Kratzen out of nowhere wrestles the third into the hands of Chile.
Damn, that's massive. Kratzen, credit to him. Another round taken for Chile off the back of one-man heroics. However, and, you know, I hate to be a bit of a, you know, a downer on the mood here. It's another one of those situations where it feels like it could be a little bit of a hiccup, right? It could just be one of those where it's a blip on the radar a bit. And I just think Argentina a little bit in the sense of that kind of taking the foot off the gas, maybe not showing enough respect in a sense, but they still got a wealth of a lead. And are those sort of rounds replicable, as I always like to say? I don't know if that one actually is. Righty, going to find the first. So already a bad start for Chile towards this. While the buy isn't exactly bountiful towards Argentina, it's what I call workable. But then Laser gets caught by Alexa at range, and that might change things.
Oh, trying to get in there as that smoke went down. You see the danger man in this round. Nothing else coming, but they've set them up nicely for the latter stages of this round. Chile have the top middle control. It's not really all that substantial, though, is it, to be honest? And you can see what crew are doing here, digging in, finding info. The push is a good idea. It's all about the discipline. However, he's going to move in maybe a bit too far. We'll see. Don't know if I like the 1-for-1, to be honest. Oh, my goodness. And again, another aggressive peek comes around. Ataraxia loses his life, and the whole thing is kind of under jeopardy now. Oh, my God. So many aggressive fights. Reversive loses out from his ramp push. However, Argentina getting a bit caught up here.
Argentina, they just want to fight, but it's not a good thing for them right now. I mean, when you drop in towards lower and re-peek in top mid like that, that is the bad peak. However, they've still somehow read this right. Deco first, but with the second, ran out of ammo, and Dot Week didn't commit to the plan either way. So, Chile gonna find another on the board. It's good from Chile. They react well. They're playing that round out well, but I think Argentina play it poorly. You know, they're so happy to fight when they don't have the best weaponry. I think a lot of times when we've seen Argentina do well, they're just baiting in the fights out from Chile and they're winning them out. In that instance, that's them trying to get overly proactive, and it's just not a good look for them when they didn't have the best buy to work with. You know, you got that guy peeking out from ladder towards chair against an orb, only ever going to go one way. Yeah, it's tough. Tough one for sure. Getting aggro. AK gets so close to getting both, but only deals damage in the end to the second.
Will be recovered as well, so that AK could make its way into better hands. Nice from Chile, though. They'll still give some B presence here, and you can see Argentina are very preemptively rotated around towards A. Curious to see how this goes down now. Could be very, very interesting. But it does look like it's going to be the B take. There's nobody here. Ramp flash comes in. Info going to be there. Ataraxia holding. Clean for one. Gets away. However, will be bested by Short. Didn't know that he had kind of the time to work with to fully hide. Laser, meanwhile, smoke goes down. He crosses in. I think they know that he might be out here, and indeed he will drop before the bomb plant comes in. Kratzen up close. Gets it done. And Chile find themselves 5 rounds. 3 in a row towards the tail end. Argentina getting a little caught up in the whole situation. You know what I mean? They were very overzealous in a few of those moments where if they had played the safer game, which we know they are capable of, they probably would have come away with rounds, or at the very least not put themselves at jeopardy.
Yeah. I just think it's one of those where Argentina really aren't showing maybe enough respect is probably the way I go about it. If they'd, you know, for example, if this is a game where they're playing a notable name or an ECL team, I think they play things a little slower and they're not as happy to fight and all the rest. But in this instance, I feel like sometimes the best thing Argentina could have done is just slow things down. Overfighting, and it was pretty costly. We'll see, though. Argentina to get a pistol. They're right back into their very comfortable winning ways. Lose it, however. Chile could be on for the chance of tying this game up. Absolutely is on the cards, and that's a nice opening shot.
Yeah, they've given the room across, haven't they, to Chile with the way that the half ended. Kratzen does get caught, unfortunately. So back to an even situation, and these blocks have done a lot of initial damage. Orphan gets caught. Not expecting a player in the window at all. It's going to be Javstar to basically do it all here. And he immediately gets dealt with. So Alex at CT, I think, has also been spotted. Not going to be able to make it out here. Down he goes. Argentina. This is part of it, isn't it? You move on to the T side. You can take those fights and just direct the game. And they do exactly that in the pistol. They show us the domination that they have in that back pocket. And we do start to worry a bit for Chile if they just can't match up on the individual level. You know, those aggressive peaks are going to come their way, and they may well just fall flat every time.
Hey, man, I'll give him credit. That opening shot was hella nice. But, yeah, aside from that, you hate to see it. Doesn't end up working out for them. Well, I'll look at this now and say that Chile are in a bit of a precarious spot. This round is already, unfortunately, a bit of a non-starter. It should be anyway, because a lesser investment reverse of tapping away. Alexo walks into it. In all honesty, Ataraxi gets one of his own. Deco will make sure that there's nobody hiding in towards Firebox. And that is this round done and dusted. Last man, Kratzen. Nothing to offer up in towards this one. Seed up on the Mac 10. Nice and simply Argentina get up towards a 9th and a 4-round buffer they give themselves at the moment, which I think ultimately is all that they're caring about. They got a nice kind of position where I think they can really now, as long as they don't do anything too drastic, Argentina, they should be fine to seeing this map off. I mean, this is already a wealth of a lead. They're coming in towards the next full buy round out of Chile, and all the pressure's on Chile now as well, right? First investment in towards this. If they are to lose this round, we're talking about, well, I mean, probably Argentina 10 and 11 before the next gun round comes through, and by then it might be too little too late.
Yes, entirely possible, sir. 1-for-1 in towards mid, though. Not a bad result, but Orphan loses his head pretty quickly. The Mac 10 has found a kill as well. So looking very, very good here all of a sudden, and I think that might just be it. Okay, Deco cleans them up, and Argentina are like, yeah, let's just send this one, man. We are the better team. That's how they're playing. They are indeed proving it. That was just a quick breeze to deal with their opponents there.
Yeah, and I mean, Deco, just at the tail end, very lucky. Survives on 3 points of HP in a molly. But in the end, doesn't really matter. It is 10-5. Double the rounds of your opponents. Argentina so far making pretty light work out of this one. Chile, fortunately, no buy for them here. The way things are playing out, Argentina, they're 3 rounds and 1 map away from locking in their spot at the World Esports Championships. That's just how cutthroat it is in the South American qual. Deagle. Oh, he's a lucky man to stay alive for as long as he does, but Laser makes sure to see him off.
Indeed. Probably is the A-bomb site going with it. Chile were kind of banking on a bit of a B hit with where they'd put their resources. Ramp for Kratzen somehow. There's certainly some low HP bars here, but with the bomb being down, they have to move fast, and that makes it hard for the Deagles. Quick headshots have to land here, and no mean feat. Slowly picking away, however. So we'll see. I mean, even still, one of these guys could just land a quick few shots to make it happen. Kratzen unfortunately has no more teammates left. They know where he's at, and if he were to find one quickly, I think they would show him the respect. 11 rounds for Argentina coming in. Incredibly fast stuff here on Mirage, and it does not bode well for that second map if Chile can't give us a competition towards the end.
Yeah, getting very close now. Argentina just 2 more rounds and basically 1 more true gun round that they have to overcome to lock this map under their belt and heading towards their favorite map of Dust 2 with so much confidence to work with. Well, we'll see, but an 11-5 scoreline, it's already incredibly damning. Chile, unfortunately, just reminding us of what we saw yesterday. You know, the CT title for Chile was their abundant and real apparent weakness, unfortunately, where Argentina, they don't have those sort of weaknesses. There's a really solid crew team who have super high expectations, not only in this qualifier, but actually probably in the main event too. Definitely have to be a side that people cannot underestimate. Top weak. Top con. Having a little look, and still not a lot on offer.
Oh, nice find from Alex to get this one rolling for Chile. They've got to make this work, but there is a very cheeky move from Deco. I think he's just been checked. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. There's a fight going down over there, though, for sure. Meanwhile, out on ramp, there's also a bit of action. Orphan with a keen angle finds Deco. Fryhe wins out his, keeping them distracted here on A. The bomb is going to join, and he looks to just try and take them all himself. Not quite able to do so, but maybe has brought them back in. Emphasis on the maybe, of course. Ataraxia, 1v3, known about, and cannot deal with the AWP on high.
At least Chile stay alive for a little bit, I guess, is probably the main thing. It's a case for us of, can we see them do this on a consistent basis? That was the gun round to keep them afloat, keep them alive, maybe keep them in contention for the map, but it's still, I probably need to see Chile go up towards 11-10 before I can really warrant this sort of a conversation and argument to be made as well about them being able to pull off something of the sort. At 11-6 is still a wealth of a deficit that Chile find themselves in, but at least a gun round to keep them afloat.
Ataraxia to open up. The explosiveness begins again. Immediately into this advantage and B hit for Argentina. Orphan in and around get right. Got to make it work. Big tags into the market. Nice find coming in for Deco. And Orphan dealt with quickly as well. Argentina, again, just able to lean on their individuality. No contests. And it seems that they have quite a few of these types of rounds coming out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Really, really difficult to contend with.
Yeah, just when you think there's a moment and an opportunity and all the rest, we kind of fly into a round like that for Argentina, set the tone, and once again kind of grab any sort of hope maybe from Chile back in their favor and just be like, yeah, no chance, not happening. That's just how good Argentina can be when they really push up in towards 6th gear. They're a top team to deal with. And towards mid once again. A double underplay was there. There's a Molotov tickling the toes a little bit though. Alexa, not exactly going quiet about his position, but he won't get a kill nonetheless. Looking around for another. He notices a second player here.
Oh, okay, an attempt made. Loses his head. Raihi as well, moving in pretty aggressively to lock it in. They now know where Kratzen is. He eats the nade as if to make this any harder. Volley goes down, and there's just nothing that can be done. Up towards window. He's easy pickings. Argentina take it. It's kind of what we were expecting. Very one-sided play. Very, very simple stuff. Just able to activate the team and the basic approach that they will have. Nothing super deep. No huge rounds required. No deep strat book rounds that we haven't really seen or that look really cool. It was just very simple. Every now and then, they hit a wall. It didn't quite work, and they did indeed lose one, but ultimately just, yeah, too easy, right? Too easy, and I think they are that class above, unfortunately, here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it just credit to Argentina. Really, really solid showing out from them. Very few mistakes that were made. I mean, I think there's probably about 3 or 4 in total where, you know, in all fairness, it cost them rounds, but in the grand scheme of things didn't make a difference. And I think that's the main thing for Argentina, because they weren't fully tested all the way through, because they are that level above, as we sort of expected, they don't really kind of care about playing at that 100%. I think it's similar to what we saw from Canada yesterday, where you can coast at like 80% and still see off this game with relative ease. Same thing Canada did yesterday, and that's what Argentina could do here in South American qualifier. I think for Chile, there is an abundant couple of weaknesses for this side that I think do need to get fixed. CT side, once again, is that quite glaring one. They obviously have very nice T-side protocols where individuals can run in towards sides, get a couple of kills. They've got a couple of guys, as we saw that Deagle clip just there, they've got the mechanics on their side. However, it's just, when it comes down to the system, it's a tougher thing to build up. It takes time and, weeks, hours in the server as well, in the offline, the prac rooms and all the rest, the build-up protocols. And it's just something that if you're a mix, it's difficult to do. So you can't really even blame them too much.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is true. It is true. I think it feels like maybe they do have something set up for that T side. A few more active voices, and the difficulty is on CT side, right? Making that work. You maybe need site leaders. You need sort of rotate callers and things like this that can be a bit hard to work out, especially in the moment. But as we see it come up here, the scoreboard doesn't look awful, considering the fact that it's only 6 rounds. You've got Alex obviously looking absolutely fantastic. He works his way into that second spot in terms of the fragging, right? Orphan, Dopweek, both kind of supplying a few more kills than you would maybe expect out of a 6-round game, although it was very aggressive. I don't think we saw a single save, but still, there are a few kind of silver linings to take away for Chile. It's just a case of whether they'll be able to use those into this next map.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on. I think, it's good for Alex, of course, pretty crisp with the AWP when he had it out in play. The issue is, it is tough when your AWP is the one constantly shining, because their money was constantly being broke, and that meant that he couldn't get out as probably as much as he would want. But, all in all, I think for Chile, coming in towards map number 2, Dust 2, it's a map in which a lot of people will know and love in the region, and one in which I'm sure they're at least going to have some understanding of playing, in terms of at least in a puggy nature of some sort, right? At least in that kind of bare minimum of, all right, this is how we're going to get on towards long, this is how we're going to take lower control, this, that, and the other. But yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, right, this is a really solid showing out from Argentina to start things off. They've set themselves up brilliantly in this sort of series now, where you've taken your opponent's map pick, you're looking for the most part very comfortable, not a huge amount of mistakes, or at least mistakes that are damning ultimately to the cause of them trying to take this map. So I think ultimately Argentina are probably feeling relatively happy off the back of that. I think as well, in towards Dust 2, this is another map in which, like I already mentioned in the pre-show, they play a hell of a lot. It seems to be one of their personal favorites at the moment, and probably the expectations, it might even be more of the same, if not maybe even more kind of damning. Because, yeah, Crew like this map a hell of a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they are moving through now as a pretty comfortable favorite to take the 2-0, maybe in quick fashion as well, to be honest with you. But Dust 2 always comes in as this map that can be difficult to work around, right? And if we see those kinds of individuals, we saw Dopweek, obviously Alexa as well, who seem to have a bit more of a proclivity towards the AWP on Mirage, could still bring those numbers, could still take the name. So we'll see whether that's going to be the case here. But all eyes are on Crew. Team Argentina looking fantastic at the moment. The 2-0 on the horizon. Definitely should be able to find it, lock their spot in at Riyadh. All the same, we've got to take a break before we get into that second map. Of course, stick around. We'll be back soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. Swift first map, of course. Chile's pick as well of Mirage. Now we move into Team Argentina on Dust 2, a map that they have been playing an awful lot under that Crew banner, of course. So things looking very, very good for them here. They'll be looking to lock their spot in quite swiftly, and it may well be a pretty quick and simple tournament from them. Of course, still got a game coming up tomorrow, but we're pretty certain that if they win here, because of, Brazil's position in particular, Chile, their main competition now after yesterday's proceedings, it means that they will have their spot at the World Esports Championships sorted. So pretty big map coming up here. Chile might be able to bring a bit of a game. We saw flashes of what they can do, but there wasn't an awful lot of depth, particularly in that second half on that CT side, you know, they were just getting absolutely rolled.
Yeah, I mean, there's no two ways about it. We're looking in towards this now, and I think it's safe to say that there's probably a little bit of concern here for Chile. They weren't able to get going. They were struggling to get sort of active in towards that game, especially when it wasn't on their T side. The T side, at least, you can hope and bank off the back of a few individuals and all the rest, but it's tough. It's really, really difficult where they're at now for Chile because, you know, the inherent issues arise when it comes towards their CT side and probably the expectations that on Dust 2, that's where they'll be starting, right? And that means that this first half could be more the same, where it's tough and hard and difficult to get going and all the rest. So ultimately, I'm pretty concerned. I think Argentina, they just looked so good, I think is the main thing for us. They really were cooking on gas, right? Both on T and CT side, putting up very stable halves. They did make a few mistakes, which lost them a couple of rounds, but in the grand scheme, it was never really, you know, threatening their lead or threatening them taking this map. It was just them probably taking their foot off the gas and thinking, oh, we've kind of got this in the bag. We're the better side. And I think to a degree, we can sort of respect it, right? You don't need to give 100%. You don't need to give 100%. You saw Canada do the same thing yesterday where they could sort of coast a little bit and still see that over that finish line. I think Argentina have got that just such a high skill ceiling, right? They have that ability to do the same here. Chile have really got to dig deep, I think, is the main thing that I'm trying to drive home. They've got to do something quite special heading in towards Dust 2, and it's a map in which maybe our reservations about, because if we know that Argentina play this a hell of a lot to a very high standard too, normally it seems, doesn't spell good times.
Yeah, certainly is going to be a challenge here, but I'm sure they will try and rise to it as best they possibly can and maybe give us a slightly closer map here. Just to keep you guys updated as well, as we said we would throughout the games throughout the evening here. Brazil-Uruguay also going pretty swiftly. Ancient, the first matchup there, and Brazil taking it 13-5. So they're also looking pretty good. They're kind of on the run back, and indeed could still secure their spot in their game tomorrow. Will be against Chile here, so you know it could be a difficult couple of series for Chile if they can't find themselves in this one in particular. You know, we talked about that. Argentina going to be tough for sure. Brazil more beatable. So if they can give us a map, if they can give us something close here to really work off of, then there is potential that they bring a game to Brazil tomorrow, and indeed could be the ones locking in their spot, right? So a lot of it all comes down to tomorrow here. Argentina, I think, just on that solid level above the rest of the field. We'll see how things pan out here on Dust 2, though. We are into it. Argentina on that T side.
Well, let's take a look and see. But yeah, I mean, the way that I look at this as well, on especially if Brazil are first of all playing, which is good, right? Good to see them kind of there. But on the other side too, right? Taking that map comfortably against Uruguay, Brazil still could be in for the chance. Even if they did default their first game, still could be in for a chance at that second spot. So Chile, and it makes it all the more important that they, if they are going to lose, at least don't have that huge of a deficit.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Javstar, hello. Headshot through the smoke for him. They've lost a bit of the sight control, though, unfortunately. Flash goes in, gives the space to allow this bomb plant. Meanwhile, out towards short, they've got a player to deal with, and doesn't quite know where to look. Right, he definitely distracted away, so solid numbers here for Chile. Lasers low. Headshots landing across the board, though. We'll see. The numbers starting to come into play here for the CT side, but that's the big one. Alex are down on short. It's going to be on to Javstar here. They're double swinging in, and they know exactly what they are doing. A position that the Argentinian boys have been in quite often there. Beautiful 2v1 played to perfection.
Yeah, it started well in Ascent, and that's with a bit of a caveat of that Javstar gets that shot through the smoke. It doesn't gain them any information. It doesn't really slow down Argentina on that push. They just barrel up and towards the ramp regardless, get that bomb down, and once with a post one, that's when they know they're happy to take fight. At least once they have that sight control, they don't even need the plant out, in all fairness. They just know that all they have to really do is get the control, because that's going to be enough for them to make things look good. Alexa forced away from window and actually forced very far away. He might actually just be calling for an early save.
Yeah, I think so. just, you know, deny anything away, don't give the money across, and indeed, he'll want that into the next round, actually, because, you know, his personal economy is not fantastic here. It looks like the pistols are going to try and get involved. Not going to win the round out, of course, but they can take a name, get away with an AK. Even that looks kind of impossible here. The scout is awaiting on the other side, however. He could get a bit scary. There's a couple of them tagged down for sure, but again, he's still soft committing to this save. A sneaky little move. They're coming for him. And they're hunting effectively here as well, to be honest. Clearing all their angles out. We'll take him down. He was close to finding one, but nothing comes in the end. I guess maybe the logic of it here is he can potentially just go for the scout again, but it's not going to be the best buy for him personally. Yeah.
I think it is just one of those where it's definitely a tougher spot that you put yourself into now, where how are we actually buying into this? I mean, they do get, for the most part, a buyout. The scout has come back out, the MP9 in support of those 3 M4s. It's feasible, this investment by Chile, but it's still difficult. I think it's the main thing. Dot Week gets flashed, gets caught on the corner. He tries to dip away, but he just catches the edge of the wall. In doing so, tough one, to say the least. Mac 10 jumping up, and Kratten gets caught as well. Just overwhelmed by the wealth of bodies there. Orphan will get it behind, but he's still in trouble and eats a grenade.
Okay, right, he comes in, finding Orphan. Down to just 2 all of a sudden, and again, Argentina, relentless aggression here from them. Really looking good. And it doesn't ask too much of them, so, you know, we begin to worry immediately here for the Chilean side. They're looking for that save. Bit of an opportunity presents itself, and, well, Rahi will shut it down before it even gets going. There's some damage in the end. Scout headshot, might get to see that on the replay, because I'm sure it was clean, but either way, Argentina taking it. And I don't know, man, they're liking this, right? It looks so simple. They've got a great B spawn here. Maybe try and test the water with a B rush. If they can get away with that, then I think they've pretty much done it all in the opening rounds.
Yeah, I mean, this is the worrying thing that I'm starting to have here, where we're just not seeing enough out from Chile. Argentina, in a similar sort of vein, are happy to coast a little bit because it's working. CZ. Trying to make a little move here for Kratten. Not a gun you see all too often. Oh, but he will make it work. Catches reversing. Nice shot. And he dips away. I get out alive somehow.
Okay. A little bit of a weird one. They have lost Alexa in the meanwhile. Just got to be careful. Oh, not to give anything else across, right? Kind of carefree in the upper tunnels, but he will make it out. Going to get rid of that AK as well. Great little flash over from the CT side, but unable to take ahead. He'll back off, give that ramp control up, try and keep a hold of the A-bomb site, but it's always easier said than done here. You can just see as well the crew movement. They look so clean here. Just to becoming their realm for sure, just in general, let alone in this game. But 3 on 3, an AK for Orphan. Is he going to get a chance to get in the action? I don't think so, unfortunately. So they're kind of just leaving Dot Week out to dry. And dry he will. Should be the AK making it into the next round, but also a 4th hit for Argentina.
Very true. Argentina nice and simply going to be waltzing into that 4th. But a double AK being saved isn't terrible. I think we'll kind of take anything at this point. I think for Chile, they are going to be able to reinvest back in comfy and all the rest. After actually gets AWP as well. Back in his hands. Couldn't wait to the start of next round. Had to make sure that he had it as soon as. Yeah, still 4-2-0. Chile, they will be buying in to some regard. Of course, they should get the AWP out, I think, for Alexa, which is absolutely fine. And maybe can contest that range for Ataraxia. He hasn't exactly had too many opportunities, but when he has, he's delivered with their AWP. It's a little bit harder on the C side, in all fairness, but Paul's been had a conversation as well for Chile, one which definitely feels needed. They're a side who are struggling. They're not putting up the rounds in the CT side that they need to, and if things continue at this sort of a pace as well, it's not exactly like these rounds are even competitive. I mean, at the moment, we're seeing Argentina take them with relative ease.
Okay. Let's see if that continues, though. There will be a defense put up here by Chile. Plenty of time to talk things over and come up with a readjustment. It has been looking like a difficult matchup here for sure thus far, and the Dust 2 has started pretty explosively. Certainly worried, I think, is putting it lightly, but this might be a round where they're able to improve that defense. Long doesn't look too bad. Reversive, however, moves through. The double spray down nearly there. This is all by himself as well that he's making this happen. Nearly the catch, but not quite. Tags them down, confirms the location of 2 more. They have lost the advantage. While gaining bits of shots, kind of an all over the place sort of round. This is what happens. Argentina moving so fast in these rounds and kind of not stopping themselves once the floodgates open. 2v4 now required, and the fights keep going the way of Chile. So here we go. This is them coming alive just at Araxia alone.
Yeah, tough now for him. Does take a bit of damage as well. I don't think he's going to be getting too much here. We'll get a kill, which in all fairness might give him something to work with. Bomb can go down. Might wait for another fight to come through, and he will get it. Hang on, Ataraxi's making a round out of this. Surely we are not going to be discussing the possibility of a 1v4. Hasn't stuck that bomb up close on the edge of the smoke. If he held it, he gets guaranteed that kill. Now he's re-peeking in towards his demise, and he'll fall. It's obviously easy for us to say with hindsight, but if he just held down that smoke for half a second longer, he probably would have spotted the outline and been able to make it a 1v1. In the end, a 1v4 was just a little bit too tough. And Chile will finally get their first run on the board. It's taken a while, but now it's got to be something, right? We've got to see this spiral into a little bit more positivity coming through. Catalyst to further success, as we usually say.
Indeed. Mid-aggression comes around from Chile, so immediately finding an aggressive stance after winning a round. It is good signs, what we like to see. But nobody on the other end of it, and this is the thing, you know, Argentina are going to have these kinds of rounds in the back pocket where it's like, okay, let's just run at them, see what we can get done. We've lost a round. All right, well, let's fall back. We've got these set rounds. We've got these mid-round calls as well that can be so effective. Alex looking to get giddy here, but he will lose his life, not respecting how close up they are. Star at the back end of the site gets blinded up. Brilliant flash over the top. 4v2 out of nowhere, and it's just Kratzen. May well be a symptom of Mirage here. That's a bit ridiculous from Kratzen. You can see what they're saying about, you know, the running accuracy in CS2 being a little troublesome, but I'm not expecting too much more from him. He does take another name. Makes it costly for sure. But they need the rounds, man. The nuance of the money and whatnot is just not a big factor here. They need the rounds.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't think for Chile, we're already getting to a point where I think if you allow Argentina to probably even 7 on T side, it's pretty decent for a map of Dust 2, which at the moment isn't, you know, there hasn't been a huge amount of reps maybe as the way other maps in the competitive pool have. But I mean, statistically, it's still pretty even at the moment. If Argentina are able to take even a wealth of a lead of any sort, it could be concerning. They're looking really good, Argentina. There's no two ways about it. Chile need to do something a bit special. They're going to sit back in this round. I don't actually dislike this idea. They've been trying to fight, and because they're losing the Angels, it's making these rounds quite difficult. This time, with a slightly mixed buy, they're going to try and do something a little bit more passive, but Orphan misses his chance.
Scout here, though. Oh, I was going to say, there's a couple of players that are vulnerable to it. However, clean from Ataraxia. And now 4 versus 2. I know where Dotweek is at as he's found that frag, of course. They'll be looking for him. He's playing the headshot angle, which is kind of all he can do on 3 HP. There you go. Clean. Individually, again, continues to look good, but round itself will indeed be lost. Can Alexa find anything on the way out to just, again, keep this kind of dream alive? If they keep taking names away, then as soon as they win a round, things get hard for Argentina. Touchdown nade finishes him off, however, and 3 players is a good number here for a T side.
Yeah. Okay. 6-1 now. Chile. Back into a reinvestment, which I guess is okay for them. They should get the AWP out. They will. Alexa will pick it up. But this is the issue that we're at the moment, right? It's full buy-in for Chile. Don't find the success. Eco, rinse, and repeat. Tough spot. They are in. Dropping out towards long. Playing anti. Ataraxia does a good job, but he does fall immediately. Numbers advantage could be good here. Or gonna add to it as well. That's really nicely done. Yeah,
super clean. Again, Argentina, there's a couple of rounds here in places, aren't there, where they bite off a bit more than they can chew. They just feel a bit too sporadic for Chile to really make something of. But every time you give them a chance and an opportunity, it's another possible comeback. And as we've said, with that economy being quite low for Argentina, it does feel problematic. Looks like they're not even going to be able to get the bomb plant here. The bomb's gone down. It's a laser to do it all. He might just creep under the crosshair. However, he creeps in backwards, so that's certainly not ideal. Down he will go. Only the 1 casualty for Chile. They have to turn this into something now, though. As we've said many times, important to get these rounds going.
Yeah, that's good, though. That is actually good. I mean, for Chile, it's a nice round that they found there. Great long control that comes through. The utilities set that they put up through is really solid. The Molly and Nade combo flashing behind them so the 2 guys can fight out around their own smoke. You know, things like that is showing that Chile have this ability about them to be able to compete with Argentina. But the issue that we saw a few times that it wasn't, unfortunately, all that consistent. Once again, out towards long. This time, the opener goes the way of Raihi. He might get traded, and he will, but Deco just going to add more misery to the situation.
All over the place at the moment. We'll see. Oh, keen track from Alexa to make sure that he gets it. That looked close to me, but he doesn't quite find it. Orphan, meanwhile, makes himself known, but he wins out the fight. That's big. That is big. There was an annoying little tapping player in behind to try and get some long-range kills from mid. And, of course, gives them the numbers, the all-important numbers here. Deco and Laser patiently waiting. Alexa on the way and gets caught. Still getting into position. 2 versus 2 now. Javstar down below. Half HP. They want to take the fight, but opting against it. Going to go in for the bomb plant. He gets drawn. Has to be careful. Deco was so ready. Too ready. And it's just Orphan 1v2.
Tough one for him. And not even going to get going. Deco swing and a find. Nice, and easily Argentina answer right back, right? I mean, simple as, and this is the thing we were saying, and what has kind of been the story of this series so far. Just when Chile find maybe something to work off around in their favor, maybe a little bit of an advantage where they can give themselves some momentum, it does get thrown right back at them in quite a tough fashion. So, 5-round lead that Argentina hold now with a guaranteed lead at the turn of the half. I mean, already all the positives that they would want, they've gained. Chile off spot, a quick B play. Dopwe gonna get a double. That'll slow Argentina down abruptly.
Yeah, completely scares them off, in fact. So here we go, seeing Chile with an upper hand. Good couple of rounds here. Alex are up close, looking to deny away any chance at this one, and he will do so. Very well held. Argentina back to the drawing board, and again, we could see this gap close, right? We actually saw a 7-5 finish after the first half. Could be a really scary prospect now if they cannot make it work. But that is a bit of a long way off. Argentina still in a really good spot here with their round count. We'll see. We'll see. It's all on these next couple of rounds.
Yeah, nicely done, though. Nicely done. Oh, he's going to go through it. Oh, they'll catch him. On the drive-by, Dopwe gets caught. He started that last round, and he's the first to fall here. A Hero AK now got an M4. They're flipping around, which is not completely off the cards. Reversive gets caught, however. They're going to fight out towards long. This could work in their favor or against them. It looks like it's going to be 4. As Alexa are going to come through to mow them down and make sure nothing is found in that one. Chile put up a 4th, which is already pretty decent. At least they've recovered a little bit.
Indeed. Indeed. A little, though, is kind of the optimal word there, I think. Very, very curious to see how this second half pans out then, because, again, Chile proving that Argentina are mortal. So, we'll see. It's a bit of a challenge, I think, for this Argentina team to fully figure them out, but they go for the long burst. 1 for 1 at the moment. I think that kill was down middle, so we'll see how Long continues out, right? He gets caught. Advantage. Chile here. Long-range fights coming in. Lights are on the orb. Oh, what a shot! Oh my goodness, they will get overwhelmed. Still very, very doable. Nade rains on in to deny the bomb plant and give the upper hand back to the CT side. Tech 9 at range. You'd say fat chance here, but Laser moves across slowly. They've lost track of him a little bit here. Got his hands onto the Galil as well. Just waiting patiently, brings it down to the 1v1, trying to play around the headshot box, but Kratzen denies it away. And again, Chile with a keen turnaround at the tail end of the half. 4 and 5. Pretty good result for them, actually. We'll see if they can make it work now as it flips over.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, a really nice little recovery at the end there for Chile. They were 7-2 at one point, and it was looking already like we were talking about potentially Argentina moving their way up to 8-9 as a bare minimum on that T side. So at the very least, Chile have recovered well on a CT side, which has generally been a bit tough for them to build. That at the very least is sort of workable. However, pistol rounds are something that have eluded Chile throughout this game thus far, something which they've really struggled with. They can get one here on this T side, their favored side. Maybe, just maybe, they might be in for a chance.
Quiet build-up in the beginning. Chile just waiting to see if there is an overstep. In the same vein, also faking things out towards A. Looking to play B. Argentina getting a bit of an idea. They've got no eyes on, but they do have a man in behind who is potentially going to give them the info. Takes a name, he'll swing out, and it's like, there's nobody else here, guys. You know, I'm not hearing loads and loads of noise, so still keep prep for that B hit. 2 at back plat is kind of mental. I think it might just work for them as well. It's a hard bait out here from Laser. Hiding away, striking only for 1. Not sure it's necessarily going to be enough. Could have gone a bit earlier for my money when they were distracted by the B doors player. Either way, bomb, it's a risky plant. They're going to swing it in. Clean headshot from Reversive. Dopweek got to find 2 quickly here with the Glock, and he will. Chile in the runnings here. They'll take the pistol, and here we go. We got a game on our hands.
That's big. They needed it. They'll get it, and Chile can now start to, I guess, slowly but surely make a competition out of this. Dust 2 is a map in which is favored in the region. You know, everybody in South America has to play it at some point. It's just basically a rite of passage, or, you know, kind of sort of being told. And now, you know, Argentina, they've picked into this, but it's not actually working, I think, as intended. There's a lot more pressure on their shoulders right now. And for Chile, taking a pistol like that is big. We are seeing my least favorite thing, the force bound CT side. If Argentina lose this, Chile not only tie the game up, but then take a lead.
For sure. It's getting interesting. It's getting very, very interesting for sure, man. This is not how I expected this one to go. Again, particularly with the way that this map even started, you might argue. Dangerous moves here, though. Feels like the buy from Chile is not brilliant. It's kind of weird, to be honest. AKs still making themselves known. The bomb, no closer to a site as yet. 3 on 3. Scout still in play, could be deadly as well. They're all moving in together. This is going to be a bloodbath here. Which way will it go? First one falls for Argentina. It's the superior weaponry on the other side, though, that's going to be a bit scary here. Down to just Deco in this one-on-one. Can he land the headshot? Yes, he can. Oh, my. Too quick with it round the corner. And the force buy wins out for Argentina. Chile, again, will be kicking themselves. You know, we had a Tech 9 in there. They were all grouped up, not really using that utility to the best of its advantage.
All right. That's a big, big force buy to be converting. Chile, just when it looked like they had a chance, an opportunity to make something of this, Argentina put the pressure right back on. Of course, they're made to go into a force by their own. Orphan, that's a lovely shot. And Dopwe going on to one of his own. Oh my. And Rai's taking damage too. So Argentina might be about to get a taste of their own medicine.
Very, very possible. Out towards long. Good control here for the T side. They've spotted one in the lower tunnels. Starting to come in a little prepared for this A hit, I suppose. That's about all they've got going for them, really. Some utility to work with as well. Try and keep them at bay. But Chile, you can see they get the one smoke down. Advantage is in. No need to panic. Cause some panic in the other camp, right? They really are not moving very far. Keeping the range and landing the shots. Alex might just have done enough with a tag and a bag. Oh, spotting another as well. So what we talked about, man, the individuals of this Chile side certainly can match up. They're doing that here. Laser surely not going to be able to get the round. He's spotted out now and finished off by the second scout in there of 3 in total, in fact. So a bit of a cheesy buy from Chile, but they make it work.
Yeah, fair play. Kind of say to Argentina, you can do it, we can do it better. And they do. Nice round from them to keep this one competitive. And I think for Argentina, they don't get a choice again. They have to come right back into a buy of their own. This is sort of how it is. They're in double eco situation. They got 1.4k loss bonus. So they have to go for this. They don't have too much of a choice or a decision in the matter. Been a good start for them as well. Already 3 players tagged in the first 5 seconds.
Deep positioning for them, though, I suppose, is the one thing they maybe have working. Going to look to try and overwhelm this scout. A little easier said than done, you know. So fast around the corners, of course. He's going to have spotted a lot of them out. So the move towards long speeds up, but they abandon the attack in towards top middle there, and they're going to move around to try and give it a go through these smokes. So it's all over the place at the moment. Deep position, meanwhile, for Javstar. If you look on your mini-map, they'll pull the bomb out and look to try and join him. So Chile have got the right idea. Probably going to be their round. Might even be a save coming out from this here CT side. He says, they try and make it work. Alex with a clean 2-piece. An attempt being made here to get back into the round, but it is null and void. Just one being picked up.
All right. We're all tight square. I think that's what matters most. And realistically, Chile should be taking a lead here as well, right? Because money's still not in a stable state for Argentina to buy in towards this. So we're talking about a tie game which Chile are going to take a lead from, or most likely take a lead from, unless things go incredibly south. I don't think that is going to be the case. You know, thankfully, everyone's got head armor. Shouldn't be an issue in all the sense. And of course, no upgrades at all for Argentina. So, on their own map pick so far, Argentina are having a considerably tougher time than they were in towards map number 1.
Alex, got a bit of support here. Beautiful stuff there as they just hold off against the push. Ataraxia. Looking to get a catch. Doesn't happen for him, unfortunately. So, flawless one for Chile. And now, seriously threatening that third map, of course. This is very, very impressive. You know, I figured maybe a half swap again was going to screw them. Maybe just the way that Argentina looked on that first map, it would, coming into this one, be too steep of a hill. But yeah, Chile looking really solid here.
Yeah, I agreed. 8-9. That lead taken for Chile is massive. One which we hope they can sort of build upon. And I think right now, Argentina, with them back into a bye, you know, we've had these moments where they have been sort of maybe taking it a little bit more lax, I think, than they would hope for. I do want to see them, hopefully, step it up and showcase what matters most, right? I mean, for them who've had a couple of moments where I don't think they've been really dipping too deep into the strat book, now is the time. All at a disadvantage. Let's not let things slip.
That's it, isn't it, really? Smoke over the top. Again, to try and bait some players in here. And it will work. Argentina certainly a bit panicked. But the bomb is still dedicating through, so we'll see. Could be workable. Up round the corner. Alexa continues to look impressive. One of the more well-known names on this team, and he is showing us why. 21 kills to his name with that.
Tough spot for him. Argentina down 2-4. They're trying to get proactive. Hoping that they can make something of this. But it's not going to work in their favor. Ataraxia gets caught.
Raihi as well in a good spot. Meanwhile, out towards short. Backstab comes in. Raihi goes down despite the dink. Oh my goodness. Chile are absolutely doing this. All 5 of them still alive. It's going to be a save from Laser. And double digits to be hit here on Dust 2. Nothing all that substantial given from Argentina either. Just the force buy coming in. The rifle play has been lackluster. So this is, again, just a massive, massive surprise.
Laser probably gets, yeah, at least the one. Maybe the second? No. Oh, well. Well, this is now game on. I mean, Chile are getting pretty damn close with no real buy for Argentina. They're, probably going to get the 11th here. A wild one that we're in. I think the thing that I'm looking at now is for Argentina, I wouldn't mind, especially into the next gun round at least, seeing a pause come through, take a breather and just say, right, we have been the better side for like 90% of this game, but we've really let things slip here. Let's not let this become a consistent factor. Nice shot, though, from Ataraxia. He's going to get an upgrade. And the Deagle going to find a kill, too.
Of course, from Argentina, right? As soon as their backs are up against the wall, they're able to find potential way back in. If only it were so simple, right? It can be incredibly loose and around like this. Not a sealed deal for sure. Argentina just resting on the 5 that they still have remaining. 3 out on B itself is certainly an interesting kind of take here, but looks like it might work. Seems to be a mid to B move, but more of a fake out. We're seeing Chile come back in with some traditional Dust 2 play. Again, though, not dedicating the bomb. So even they are a bit unsure of where they are going to end up. Flash comes through towards mid. Spotted out. Just got to be careful here. Try and draw them in. But this is the exact kind of arena where this T-side want to be fighting. Long range. Get the AKs rolling. Top week. What is that? 4 out of nowhere. But, oh my lord. He has brought them back, crashing down to reality. He cannot get it done. An incredible recovery from Chile in the middle.
Wow. Okay. Again, just when it thought like it was a tough spot that we were in or anything of the sort, I thought for a second they were going to steal away around. They get the opening 2 kills. He gets one with the Deagle. The Scout finds one as well, which upgrades then to the AWP. It looks like it's all locked into place, and Dopweek bails them out. A great mid to B play, which comes through, and oh, just like that. 3-round gap now. Argentina, of course, will be able to buy back in, but lose this, and we're probably talking about map number 3. Something we never assumed off the back of, well, that first map as a whole.
Yeah, it is pretty unbelievable stuff, but they're delivering here, and you can see, oh my goodness. We were talking about Alex Dopweek in the past couple of rounds is the name on everybody's lips. Fantastic opener here. If they can find 12 with no real sweat, you would assume that Argentina go down. We require that 3rd map of Nuke, of course, one that Chile have already played here in the South America's qualifier. They beat Uruguay on it yesterday. So they'll be in a good headspace, I would imagine, after a performance like this, going into a map that they are familiar with.
This is tough. Really tough spot. I mean, Dop Week just seems to be sort of unkillable at the moment. And this is once again reaffirming this idea that they had in yesterday's series that we're seeing again here about how good this T side are. You'd think that Argentina on the CT side would be able to keep them sort of at bay, but it hasn't been the case. Oh, might get another chance at a second. Lovely shot. Looking for the third, and Deco going to come into support. Lasers up, doing God's work as well. Back sight. He's trying to see this off, and I think he probably should. Pistol pulled out too. The flash is a beaut, and Laser walking away with a brilliant 4K to his name to keep Argentina afloat.
Time to lock in here, Argentina, if you want to be taking it into. That was a great round. Really well worked. But maybe down to an individual holding in on that B-bomb site, right? And these are often things that we will say, regardless of overdog, underdog stories, challenging to get them involved in every single round, right? And it's something that Chile, again, will probably not let reoccur. Out towards long. Counter utility is pretty good here from Argentina, so nothing that Chile can really do with that. They actually end up taking a lot of damage.
Mid taken. Other T side. Pretty aggro player out towards long. It's normally a one-and-done angle. Has to be said. Let's see what they can get away with. Didn't even get cleared, I think, is the other thing too. The flash should still catch him if it's a standard palm tree flash. We'll see. Spam on the smoke. Ataraxia's going to get the first.
Nice pickup. Nice pickup indeed. And this is where the HP start to come into play a little bit as well. Alex, a danger man left low. Dopweek already taken out, so we're looking to the supporting cast to win this one out, potentially. 40 seconds left. Contact play, it's risky. It can kind of work for you, but also this is what happens where it's like you're caught out in the open. They're able to flash you in easily. And Deco's just playing a long game, you know, drawing them in. They're going to go straight towards him. If he gets good timing here, it could work perfectly. Molotov down. Smoke on top of it. Goose completely unchecked. Even an attempt at the bomb plant. They were not expecting him at all. Orphan spotted. Ooh. Nearly finished. 3 HP the difference here. And he will indeed go down. No bomb plant is a big deal. Look at the money for Chile here. Argentina should be able to even things.
Yes, exactly. And then we're on for a chance of maybe making something out of this. I mean, for Chile, an AK picked up by Javstar. Does it get that dropped or sold? Who knows? Yeah, it looks like actually probably going to be sold. They're going to keep hold of funds and opt for a Galil instead. A little bit of a lesser investment and have a little bit more money in the next round. So, a one-round game, but one in which Chile can't bring a hell of a buy to work with. However, Tech 9 can still be pretty problematic. Ataraxia at range. Nice shot on towards Alexa.
Looking good here, isn't it? Down goes Orphan, moving in quickly, trying to make something happen here on the Chile side of things, but it is not the exact opposite. They are stopped in their tracks. Cratston spotted, tagged up not once but twice, and eventually finished off. 11-11 Argentina. Maybe figured it out a little. This is where those all-important timeouts might come in useful for Chile in particular. The money's still not great. Maybe an overspend from a couple of players. You're going to have Dopweek on a slightly weaker weapon. So this is somewhat problematic. Argentina breathing down their necks now.
Yeah, exactly. Playing the full 24 at the bare minimum. Potentially and some at this rate too. Coming across, Ataraxia spots nothing. Molotov going to come towards top mid. One out towards long as well. And a smoke in behind it is to try and bait out the fight. First two go the way of Reversive easily.
Goodness me. Argentina might just be doing it here. All over the place, isn't it, for Chile? They really have lost their way right at the death, and this is what happens. Pressure on these mixier teams. Is there that voice? Is there a collective identity here to close this game out? Looks like it's going to have to be an overtime unless we get a bit of a hero here. Alex on that scout, spamming away. Finds some good damage. But we need a kill. We need a clean frag to come in. Timing could be good, but Reversive, far too ready for something like that. Down to just Alex and Javstar.
Alexa, for him. Honestly, an argument to be made about keeping hold of this AK, in all fairness. Looks like he's going to opt against that. An own quantity in Argentina, while they're being made to feel a lot of pressure into this map. Probably a lot more than they would have expected. Still, it looks like they have probably done enough. Unless something quite special happens into this next round where the money's going to be so feeble towards Chile. I don't know whether that's going to be the case, but at the very least, if Alexa keeps on an AK, they might have a chance. It's just one of those things. If they lose this, they actually might even struggle to get into one at all. Alexa will find it. Drops a smoke. Wants to bait in a bit of a fight and actually gets it. And he will rip off Raihi's head. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, definitely. However, he's going to go down after time, sir. That is not ideal at all. Your strongest fragger has $600 in what could be the final round of the series here. Not just the regulation, not just us two, but the series overall. Argentina with a keen comeback 4 in a row with no room to breathe is really impressive stuff. Chile now winging a prayer for them if they are to take us to the OT.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, let's see. For Chile, we've got double Galil set up. Double Mac 10 and a Tech 9 trying to round it out. Quicker play. Does give away Kraten's position. Raihi for 2. The nade and the Molotov combination forces him back in towards the not-so-loving arms of Lazy. And we might be done here, unfortunately. Just when it felt like Chile had a chance. Javstar is all that's left.
Indeed. Mac 10. And a dream. Smoke over the top. Knows his lineups. Don't know that it's going to help him too much here. They're starting to overwhelm. There's a player in behind as well to hold. Looking very good here. Off angle. Okay. I figured that would be that. So they do have to be a bit careful. He's got plenty of time. He's got the bomb. He's got an upgraded weapon. Come out a little bit here. And he does draw them from long, but it was 2. And that is 1 too many for the lone Chilean to try and keep them in it. Not going to happen. Argentina will take it 2-0. A well-fought battle. And this is what we talked about. If we could see Chile make things competitive on one of the maps or take a map, you know, and indeed convince us that they're capable, things get interesting into tomorrow. And you mentioned a little bit in there as well that the round differential going to be important, right? That map comes down to a -1. Could have certainly been a hell of a lot worse. It could all add up tomorrow in their game against Team Brazil.
Yeah, no, I mean, that for in a small silver lining of the situation for Chile actually is a big thing for them because Brazil ended up obviously having kind of to forfeit their game in a sense. For Chile, it gives them a much better chance. Of course, at the moment, it looks like to me them and Brazil fighting off for that second spot, but Argentina winning that is guaranteeing them taking, you know, they're booked in their spot in towards the World Esports Championship, which is absolutely sick for Argentina. And now it is going to be that fight between Chile, between Brazil to see who is going to be the best, I guess, best of the rest in a sense, right, for looking for that second spot. But we run through some of these highlights, and you can just see how close this game was in a lot of instances, a lot of times where it felt like, honestly, Chile had a good chance of even pushing that to a third map.
Indeed, indeed. No, it is kind of wild. I think that we, again, just get to see sort of where that level is at from the crew side of things and tapping into that higher level that they have and just ultimately the fact that they do come in as a team. Didn't take a timeout, but it felt like maybe there was the timeout type energy, the timeout type conversation that happened when they were like, yo, come on, guys, we are better than this. We know that we can take it. This is our map. And just try and keep it tight. They had a big individual moment, which we'll probably see on the highlights here in just a second as well, that I think spurred them on and gave them that belief. And, you know, the obviously the morale game can be really, really important. But Chile, to be fair to them, Dop Week with an insane round in there. This is the individual round that I was talking about as well, right? The all hold on B. But yeah, Chile having some great individual moments, and that can be difficult. That can be what Dust 2 comes down to. So It's tough. It's very, very tough. But I think Argentina showing us why. On paper, we looked at this qualifier, we looked at this tournament, and we were like, they're going to get a spot. Absolutely no arguments. Yeah. And yeah, they absolutely fed into that there on Dust 2.
It's a wild thing now, I think, as well, to see for Chile, because it's only a -2 at the end of that map. It really does give them a chance, but I think ultimately that series will come down to whoever wins out of them and between Chile and Brazil for what I'm assuming is going to be a series closed between the Brazil and Uruguay team soon-ish. I think, obviously it was a pretty one-sided first map, so we'll have to take a look and see once that one is concluded and all the rest. Currently now, according to, I can double check for you actually, the second map, it's into overtime, in all fairness, between Brazil and Uruguay. They're on Mirage. It's just hit 12-all. So we did get the overtime here, but they've got it over there. But ultimately, Argentina really made to sweat for that, a lot more than I think they probably would have expected, considering it's their map pick, a map in which they generally are pretty good on a domestic basis. But in the end, a win is a win. That's all they care about. They have guaranteed their spot at the World Esports Championship, whether it's first or second, who knows. But I think more or less guaranteeing first, because Brazil forfeit last, beat Chile, Brazil going to beat Uruguay, it more or less cements it, I think, at that point. So yeah, credit to them. I think for Argentina, we expected them to make it to LAN. They have made it to LAN. I think fundamentally that's what they care about.
Yeah, for sure, right? A really keen sort of showing in from the Chilean side, and hopefully things will pan out for them tomorrow. We'll see. It's going to be interesting now with that second map. Team Brazil going to the overtime. The map drop there could be all the difference with the way things go down, but it looks like it might indeed have a bit of jeopardy into tomorrow, which is kind of what we're about. And I think for me, that is a pretty cool story going into tomorrow as well. We'll see what Uruguay are able to continue doing. But indeed, Argentina, I think for me, just moved through as maybe even one of the teams going into the World Esports Championships as a really clean, I wouldn't say, favorite there, but definitely a contender.
Probably up there,
to be honest with you, right? And they've got a lot of history there. They've got a lot of control of where their game is at, and ultimately we've seen a level that they're able to get to. I don't know that they went super deep into what they were capable of here in this series, just feeling super confident and playing like it a bit. We saw a lot of rounds where they just gave a bit too much room across to Chile, and it did end up costing them. But yeah, Crew for me are a scary side. They're going to have time now to prep as well, which is a big deal.
Yes, exactly that. We have 2 more best of 3s to bring you. We're going to be jumping over towards the North American side of things, but not before we have a little bit of an extended break in all fairness. We're going to be jumping on towards our next game, but we have 30 minutes or so until we come back on towards the cameras and do all of the pre-show for that. So, ladies and gents, this is a perfect time. Get a drink, something to eat, right? Get yourself ready. There's going to be some more Counter-Strike throughout your evening. For now, we'll see you in 30 minutes.